G'day, Toby Marr here from Full Time Media, and I've got George Burgess on the way home from the premiere.
Podcast in the car. We thought you guys all listen to podcasts in the car. Why not make a podcast in the car?
You'll be on the car ride with us.
Could be the first of many. It's the title of the podcast is still work in progress, but maybe our audience can give us some ideas. What do you reckon?
Absolutely. Awesome. So how's your week been?
Well, it's been a crazy week. Started in Sydney with the screening, the Sydney premiere at the Randwick Ritz, and we had Chris Hemsworth there. We had not as much media, but it was kind of in-house screening, and everyone's reaction to the film has been mind-blowing. So I've been super proud of the film, and everyone's, relating to it. There's a lot of good messages in the movie, you saw it on the weekend. So
Yeah, such a good movie, really good fight scenes, and your character is probably the most loved in the movie. How do you feel about that?
yeah, so Neil, I was saying before, he's not a smart guy. He's a bit of a simpleton, but he's a lovable simpleton, and he gives that bit of comedy in the film, which the audience really needs, because there's not many characters like that. There's a lot of serious characters, and there's a lot of heartache and a lot of heavy stuff. So I think Neil gives the audience that bit of relief when they need it at certain times in the movie.
And you'd be used to playing big, gruff, burly characters.
Yeah.
So this sort of different type of character, how was that change? And
Yeah, I loved this contrast, and changing people's mind about what they think you might be able to do on a camera. So yeah, Neil was the opposite of what Beast is. He was vulnerable and just there to help his friends. So it was a really enjoyable character to play, and I think audiences gravitate towards that kind of character who's a big and he can take up space, but he can be vulnerable and show his emotions as well.
And in the movie, you're at a one championship event, so you got to go to the event. What was that process like?
Oh man, for me as an athlete, ex-athlete, to go to a live MMA event, I'm a big fan of the UFC. I'd not really heard about the One Championship, but man, when you go to Asia, the One Championship is the thing. Like, the crowds are crazy. Everyone's bouncing in their seats.
And Mighty Mouse was there too at that event?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. And, I'd never watched Muay Thai before. So that was my first introduction to Muay Thai. And, I think I'm a fan for life now. When they do the kick and everyone goes, oh, whoa, until they drop. Unbelievable. And being able to walk out with Dan and Amy, like we're really going into a fight, was just got the juices flowing for me. I'm like, made me think I want to literally doing that made me want to have a boxing fight of my own.
Yeah, and so on that, your boxing fight, you've been training a bit for that?
Yeah, man. I've done a lot of training in my career, MMA, boxing, whatever. So yeah, we're really working on my striking game now, and working with a really great boxing coach in Noosa, Israel Khani, former middleweight champion, and he's a great defensive coach. So I'm learning the ins and outs of movement with my footwork and the head movement. So yeah, I'm really enjoying learning the art of boxing and delving deeper into it, and learning more about myself as a person the harder I go with my training. I truly believe boxing's the hardest sport in the world. And, as an actor, well, for me as an actor anyway, I'm always trying to draw from life experiences. And why not have a life experience like stepping in the boxing ring against someone as big as you for the first time? That's an experience for me that I can I couldn't pass up. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, learning about yourself in the process of training to
yeah,
be in front of such a scary dude as well. Like,
yeah, yeah, definitely. You know, take you to some dark places, and you find out a few home truths about yourself, which I love doing. It's testing yourself at the highest possible level is what I like to do.
did you do much training in that with the movie?
Mm.
Like, does that get in the way of it, or?
Well, yeah, for my character, yeah, he's growing in confidence himself, so it really worked that I was learning how to be a trainer, learning how to hold pads, you know, because the character himself, Neil, was doing it as well in the film. So yeah, it's quite easy for me to do some of that stuff. But you know, I think for Dan and for Amy as well, um, they were starting from scratch. You know, Dan had a lot longer. He did an amazing job and committed 2 or 3 years of his life to learning how to be an MMA fighter and what that means physically, mentally, everything. So hats off to what he did, and you can really see the results of it in this film. You know, the fight scenes, it's really hard to make ground game look exciting, you know, really hard. A lot of films have tried and failed. So some of the transitions on the ground game to then standing up and then back down, you know, it's really hard to, hats off to Thomas as well, the director of photography. He did an amazing job, and everyone, you know, the whole team of editors, director Tyler Atkins, yeah, they had this vision, and to see them put it together was very satisfying to be a small part in it.
And to choreograph the grappling in the way that it was at a live event too, does that add pressure
Yeah.
to that as well?
Well, secrets of cinema here. So we had the live event, and we had maybe 5-10 minute slots in between each of the bouts on the night to jump in, quickly do some stuff, then jump out. So what you see that was live at the event was probably some of the close up, not the close up stuff, but the stuff with the crowd in the background that you see in the film. Whereas the close up stuff of the ground, grappling stuff, we also had the stadium either side, a day either side of the fight as well.
Yeah.
To shoot, and we had like a fake crowd in the background, and that's when you really got to film some of the technical stuff, which took a lot longer to do. Yeah.
And you spoke at the premiere just when you had a bit of time behind the mic, just talking to the character and how you even resonated with the main character and just his battles outside of sport. Did you?
Yeah, I mean, for me, when I first read this project, when I first read the script, it became a necessity for me to do this film because I feel like athletes in general in retirement, it's not really spoken about enough, you know, and I've lost friends who I've played with, you know, through suicide. So it's a really important subject for me, and you know, one that needs to be explored. And I think it's the darkness that you see in Patton in this film, you know, especially after he goes through another tragedy, is really intense, and for a lot of people that's too much, and you see how he overcomes it in this film. It's very important to show that, and to show that it can be done, and that there's ways out. So yeah, I mean, when I got the chance to speak a little bit and take the mic, I felt like I had to shed some light on that, and yeah, hopefully athletes and anyone who watches this movie, not even athletes, can understand a little bit about what life really is like after you retire. Because they do say you have two deaths as an athlete: is when you retire, and then when you really die. So it's a lot, you know. It's hard, and this was great to shed some light on it.
Yeah. And so how are you doing? You're a few years in retirement now from NRL. You're taking on an acting career. How are things?
Man, I really struggled like when I first retired because I was relatively earlier than I would have liked. I was 30, but I'd struggled with chronic hip pain for many years before I pulled the pin and even gone and had a metal hip put in and tried to play after doing that, which no one had ever tried to do before. And yeah, it was intense, but I mean, my football career was really deeply rooted to my relationship with my father as well. So when I stopped playing um, permanently, I kind of felt like I was losing that again, like grieving, the loss of my father again, and that was quite tough. So it's been a process, but I'm really lucky. I've got friends, family around me that I've been able to lean on, and then I've got this passion. Well, it's not a new passion, just this passion that I've always had, that I've been able to really delve into now, especially with this role. Really sink my teeth into a character and actually do some acting rather than just cameos or the typecast kind of roles that you might expect from someone who's switched over from sports. So yeah, this was really a life-changing moment for me to be able to do this movie, and yeah, very very happy to be on the journey now of a new career.
And something to keep your mind busy and things like that, because it's a very different challenge, right? You're playing a character that isn't necessarily you. There's,
Yeah,
I'm sure there's aspects of Neil and you, but
yeah.
but not completely, right?
I mean, I have a theory about this, and it helps me when I'm trying to tap into a character. Like all the choices we have in a day, I think it's 1,000 choices that we make in a day, or 6,000 thoughts, something like that. Those over many years, months, days, months, years, they can create a different kind of person. It's a mathematical equation, and I always assume that different choices throughout my life would have led to this different person. So I feel like Neil could have been me. Different choices, different things happened to him over many years. So I was able to. I try to tap into characters that way, and it tries to makes them feel more real for me. If I believe that this could have been me, if I made a series of different choices, or different thoughts,
Yeah.
things happen to me. It's very real possibility that this could have been me, and it's probably me in a alternate reality or universe. Yeah.
And did anyone teach you that one, or was that just
No, man, I'm a deep thinker, and I've always thought about stuff very internally, and I think I just kind of come up with that one. Yeah.
type of stuff you think when you're meant to be sleeping?
Yeah. After Beast, I did another movie, horror comedy movie, completely different character. But the only reason I got to do that movie was the producers and everyone who was involved with that movie were working on Beast, and I was just able to talk to them whilst we were on set, and kind of speak about other projects we were doing. And this character really didn't look anything like. His name's Kane, tall and gangly, and but they just liked me. I liked them, so they gave me a chance with this role, and I had a bit of fun with it. So yeah, I went straight from Beast into this horror comedy movie called The Only One, which is super fun movie to do because it was like a slasher movie, like Scream.
Yeah.
Those old 90s, early 2000 movies of the slasher movies where all the women die usually, but this was a slasher movie where all the men die.
Yeah, right.
And so it was basically this woman goes back to her hometown in Australia, and she has all these ex-boyfriends. She's back there for a wedding, and all her ex-boyfriends start getting killed off because obviously the serial killer he's got a thing for the girl, and he doesn't want her to get back with any of her ex-boyfriends. So yeah, I play one of the ex-boyfriends, and his name's Kane. He's trying to help her find the guy who's doing it. So yeah, Kane is a guy who lives in his mum's garage still, and he's got a sword. He's got a samurai sword. He wears a kimono and he plays video games, and he's got a man bun, and he's just absolute smokes a bong all day.
So another different type of character.
So
That's not you.
It was hilarious to play that kind of character, and had some fun with it. And it's definitely comedy. So hopefully I look forward to everyone seeing that when it comes out. It should be
Nice. When's all that come out? When's the premiere and everything?
well. They don't have a plan for it yet. They've finished the project, and I've seen the film. It's hilarious, but they're just trying to get some distribution now, and it's looking like it might be Netflix or something like that. But yeah.
So I guess a peek behind the curtain. You do a bit of filming at similar times, but the movies come out at pretty different times.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I did a movie straight after the only one as well in Germany. With Ethan Hawke and Russell Crowe again, and that's set in 1933 Oregon, and that's going to come out in September. Different kind of timelines, but yeah, that was another character as well, which was completely different again. He was that was a villain. That was the real villain, and that was hard to tap into, but one that I really enjoyed doing in the end. I had to I changed the character's name to Butch. So his original character's name was Maney Latender. I changed it to Butch Latender because my granddad's name was Butch. His nickname was Butch, and he was born in the 30s, same time that the movie, was set.
Yep.
And it was a bit of a character. My granddad, like, he's not someone you want to mess with, and he was good with knives. He was a slaughterman. And he was in the army, good with guns. So I wanted to try and embody a little bit of him. He was my bloodline, and it was my granddad, and I was close to him.
Yep.
And he's passed away, so I wanted to try and give him some of the light in this character, and it felt like when I changed the character's name to Butch, I was able to bring it more to life than what it was before. So I always try to find little things like that with characters that gives them more purpose, gives them more meaning, and
So very different type of approach in your character, because it's a different type of character. But
because there's some really heavy scenes in this movie. Don't want to spoil it too much, but very heavy scenes and emotionally charged scenes, and it's the 30s. There's a lot of racism, and my character, he's the guard of a gold mine. So that was like, to do that back then, all these gold mines were getting either looted, or the owners of the gold mines were taking the gold and hiding it, because in 1933, the president of the United States, Franklin D. Roosevelt, he signed an executive order to take all the gold back from the mines, and now it belonged to the government. So this story is about these guys being hired to smuggle the gold out of the gold mine, trek it through the wilderness in Oregon, and then meet at a rendezvous point, and it gets hidden or picked up. So you can imagine along the journey, there's a lot of stuff happening. There's people tracking them and trying to kill them. So it's a great story. It's one of the...
That's sick. It's like, do you get to pick all your the movies? Like, do you get a lot of different movies, and you get to read it first before you decide whether you want to take the role?
Well, yeah, I got sent this script by Russell. I'm always kind of annoying him a little bit, I suppose, and asking him to send me stuff that he reads. And this was something he sent me whilst I was filming Spartacus in New Zealand. And when I read the script, I was like blown away by it, the story of it all, and I had to do it. The location of the filming changed many times. I auditioned for the film, didn't even know if I was going to get it, but I did the audition, and kept just keeping in contact with the director, and managed to sneak into the film. And it was crazy. The film got to Sundance Film Festival, which is another story, because the reason my granddad was called Butch was because he used to watch Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. That was part of the reason why they called him Butch. He watched that film on repeat all the time. So if you go to his house and you go visit him, especially when he was older, he'd have Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid playing without fail. And the fact that this film then got into the Sundance Film Festival, which only was started because of that film, you know. Butch, so the guy who plays, just say, for people who don't know, the guy who played Sundance Kid in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid is Robert Redford. And because his character's name was Sundance Kid, he started the Sundance Film Festival, which has been around for a long time, and it's been championing independent filmmaking ever since. And this year was especially important because he just passed away, Robert Redford. So it was a big memorial for him, and to be there at the last Sundance Film Festival with this film, which was, my character was kind of inspired by his original film, was like an amazing thing for me, like a surreal moment. It was like, it felt like it had come full circle. And I felt like that I was on the right path with things like that happening, you know.
Going to film festivals and stuff like that, how's that? You enjoying that process? Are you numb to it yet, or?
Oh man,
It's still cool as.
I'm a massive film fan, and going to Sundance Film Festival, like, I dreamt about going to that festival. So to the first American film I ever did, we get into the film festival. It's like a dream come true. So I flew over to Salt Lake City, and you know, it was the last one ever at Park City. It moves to Boulder City after this year.
Yeah, right.
So I was like, I was kind of pinching myself, really, you know, being at a film festival with a film with Ethan Hawke, you know, an actor that I'd kind of looked up to and watched a lot of his stuff, you know, and then getting to be in a movie with him, and then that movie getting into Sundance. I was like, you know, this is just proving to me that I kind of feel like I'm on the right path now, and where I'm supposed to be, you know.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And now I come back from that, and I'm just auditioning at the minute, and I just landed a new movie in Sydney with the last Hemsworth brother. So I'm filming that right now.
Oh yeah, going to these events and there's a Hemsworth brother there. How's that?
I love these boys because, you know, I met Liam and Luke on Land of Bad. That was like my first kind of step into the industry, and that was in the Gold Coast as well. And they were just like so normal and nice, and it reminded me of me and my brothers, the way that they are. So yeah, I love those guys, and I've gotten to work with all three of them now, which is cool. And the fact that they're brothers, and I think they keep themselves grounded with the amount of fame they've had.
It's crazy. Like, I've never seen like people react to a person like that. Like, as soon as Liam got to the event, it was just people circling him like crazy.
Yeah. Well, they've got such a presence about them, these boys, and especially Chris and Liam, you know, with their size. You know, I think they've got bloody 100 million followers on Instagram. So it's like, yeah, they're a great family, and very, very humble guys, very, very nice guys. And you know, you see, I saw a video of Liam taking a photo with a young kid, and how he knelt down and to his level and let him put his arm around him.
He was taking a photo with every person that he could when he was walking. So for him to walk like 50 meters took 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's that just isn't natural thing to do for a human being. You know, I've been there obviously with football and stuff, and it's quite bizarre to have those kind of interactions. But yeah, they deal with it very well. Those boys, good family, amazing family. Luke Hemsworth, like, I did hardly any scenes with him in this movie, but the one scene we did do in the gym, he was leaving straight away after it to go to the goal back to Byron, and he made a point of, you know, coming up to me, giving me his number, he said, come visit in Byron anytime. And he'd love to catch up, and, you know, didn't have to do that at all. And,
Yeah.
you know, me and my wife, me and my kids, we stopped off at his place in Byron, driving down the coast. And yeah, we've been really close now and got to hang out more doing this press stuff. So I'd love to do some more work with him for sure.
And he's a great actor too. Like, you generally know if someone's a good actor when you like absolutely hate them when they play a bad character, like the character that isn't likable.
Yeah. No, that's definitely a testament, especially when, you know, you watch a film and the character dies and you're like happy about it. I've been in a few of those characters. I'm getting good at being killed off, but yeah, if you can make it a good death, then it's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm the youngest of the 4 brothers.
How's that?
Well, yeah, me and Tom, we were really just the one entity until we split up for a couple of years, and I moved to Australia, he's in England, and we were able to find our identity. But youngest of 4. It's a lot of fun.
Well, because you're like one of the biggest people I've ever met, but you're in your family, you wouldn't really be the biggest, right?
Well, I am now. Well, yeah. When I was the youngest, I caught them up, and it was funny. Tom's always like giving me shit 'cause he's 15 minutes older, but because he's in England now, I turned 34 before him.
Right, so you're older.
Because it was a day behind in England, so I was actually not the youngest for once, technically. So it was funny.
And who's going to win the comp this year?
So wide open, right? You got like the top 5 teams all on 12 points right now. So it's as close as I've seen it. But
obviously, bunnies after last night.
Well, I just said that last night. Putting 48 points on Melbourne Storm in Melbourne. I was like, they got to be a good chance of winning the comp. So, but they can stay injury free. I mean, they've got a few injuries right now, but I think if they can manage their roster well, and Wayne Bennett might be able to pull a rabbit out of the hat.
Did you go down for the game or anything for Alex Johnson's record-breaking try?
So, with AJ, they all thought he was going to do it last year. So we'd filmed like videos for him and congratulating him on breaking the record. And I went to the game before, which was against the Dolphins at Suncorp. And I thought he was going to get it then, but then he got it the week after. It was so good to see that happen, you know, all the fans on the field. And
yeah, what's your thoughts on the fans on the field?
I mean, it was very unsafe and could have gone wrong, but luckily everyone got off in the end and there wasn't too many idiots.
Yeah, I was all for it until it happened, and then I was like, oh, I can see why people were against it.
Yeah.
Because I saw no reason against it until it happened. And then people just throwing drinks everywhere and like just that sort of the mess that was left. I was like, oh, that's why they didn't want it to happen.
Yeah, I mean, couldn't happen too often, but
yeah, for that moment.
Yeah, for that moment, it was great. I think the league crowd compared to an AFL crowd are very different. Whereas it happens in the AFL, everyone just politely walks back off and
correct.
Well done, sir. Whereas the league fans are a bit feral, mate. A bit feral.
Yeah, because that's what I'd seen, Buddy's 1,000. And then seeing the reaction, it's like, why can't we have this in league? And that's why we can't have it in league.
Especially, you know, it was Rabbitohs Roosters, right? So those fans do not like each other. And you put them on a footy field, guess what they're going to try and do? run it straight. So yeah, I'm actually really surprised that there was no accidents, no one got hurt.
It was just that one person that got smashed by security, and that's
Yeah.
it.
That one guy, that one unlucky guy, was like out of all the people. Nah, he must have been doing something.
Yeah.
Probably got his dick out or something. I started. You'd have to be doing something to be like, all right, be the one guy out of 20,000 people. But yeah, everyone gets a free pass when Albanese starts strutting around on the field. So that was awesome.
And so Roosters, was that your biggest rivalry when you played?
Yeah, definitely. So we used to have like this book. It's called the Book of Feuds. We still have it. It's called every game that's ever been between the Roosters and the Rabbitohs is in this book. And every time there's a new game, a new bit is written inside the book. So I think Russell Crowe invented it, and it's pretty cool. But he used to do this thing where before we played the Roosters, he'd come into training and he'd very dramatically read a section of the book, from history. And
he's got the voice for it, right?
Do it in the gladiator voice. And so he'd open a piece of the book and blow. He'd already have flour placed in the book where he's going to open and dramatically blow it like he's blowing dust. So yeah, it was very, very cool. First time I saw that, I was like, yeah, this is awesome. And he reads one of the famous matches from the past and gets all the boys pumped up. So yeah, it's very. I mean, those type of rivalries in sport is why we love sport, right?
Yeah, and the early years that you played, that's when both of you two teams were really good. Hey, like the Roosters won in 2013, you won in 2014. Like you never got to see the grand final with you two against each other, but those two were pretty much the two best teams over those years.
Well, 2012, my first year, the year I debuted, that was the craziest year in the rivalry because the two games that they played, both teams came back and won in dramatic fashion in the last few minutes of the game. So round one, if you remember, Adminicello scoring that try right at the end to win it, and then round 19, I believe it was, my third ever game of first grade, we scored 3 tries in about 5 minutes to win the game. And you got that bit at the end of the game with Adam Reynolds. And I always remember the commentary, Reynolds, take me now, I have seen it all, I have seen everything. That was goosebumps. But I was in hospital after that game for 8 days. I had like a stomach problem. My intestine burst open, probably from the excitement of that win. But after third game of first grade, I was out for another 8 weeks after that. 50% chance of dying with this stomach thing that I had.
Jesus.
So I lost 20 kilos in 8 days.
You're right.
And I had to get back, and I ended up getting back for the finals. In that finals year, 2012. South Sydney under 20. So I played under 20s. First week of the finals, we got knocked out. So the second week of the finals, I played a reserve grade. We got knocked out. The third week of the finals, I was 18th man for first grade. So I got back in the squad kind of thing, and we got knocked out again. So 2012.
You were cursed.
I had 3 Mad Mondays, 3 weeks in a row with 3 different grades, which is kind of something I'm proud of. I don't know if anyone would have done that before. 3 Mad Mondays, 3 weeks in a row with 3 different grades. So 2012, was a rough end to the year, but it set me up for 2013.
That was the Sonny Bill year too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that was Rabbits versus Roosters in round 1?
2012, after 2012, I had the biggest preseason of my life because I was kind of robbed by getting that injury with my stomach. I was kind of robbed from playing more than 3 games. So which also meant that I was still eligible to win Rookie of the Year the next year.
Yeah.
So if that didn't happen, I wouldn't have won Dally M Rookie of the Year then the next year.
Yeah, right.
So the next year I played every game nearly. I was on Match Famous as well, so I was like, this is cool.
Matches.
Yeah, I was on 3 grand matches. I was like, this is it, NRL. And scored my first try in round 1 against Roosters. And that was unreal, to play against Sonny Bill Williams.
And you flogged him.
Yeah, we flogged up.
In that one?
Sammy loved SPW growing up, so first time he played against him, he wanted to run over the top of him, and he got him pretty good. That's on the highlights reel for years.
Correct. Yeah. I was going to say, I remember that, like, just on every ad.
So yeah, they had a good rivalry in that period of time. I think that the same year, that semi-final of the World Cup was the best game I've seen them two play. Like, we played at Wembley, New Zealand versus England at Wembley in a semi-final. They just beat us, but Sammy played out of his skin, and so did Bill. It was like, that was probably the highlight of their rivalry, that game.
Did they get along, or?
Oh yeah, massively. They have massive respect for each other.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, I mean, I love Sonny Bill as well. I think he's a great person, great human being, and he found himself again with his religion, and he's very staunch about it. He's big on helping the next generation of athletes. So good on him. Did some amazing things in sport, to play in that many codes and then box as well. I actually hit him up about doing some boxing training with him, but he hasn't got back to me yet. So Sonny Bill, if you're watching, let's do some boxing training. So yeah, good man. And I remember the first, so when I first signed in the Super League at Wigan, 2020, he'd signed at Toronto Wolfpack at the same time. So we were like the poster boys of that year in Super League.
Yep. And
we did the Super League launch, and we were on stage getting interviewed together at the Super League launch. I was like, this is pretty cool. Being just hanging out with SB Dubs. He's but unfortunately the Wolfpack didn't last too long, and
were they the ones that like folded?
They probably owe Sonny a bit of money, the poor fella. But yeah, COVID happened, and had some different plans for Toronto Wolfpack, but it'd be cool to see that kind of idea pop up again.
And what was it like, the transition from NRL back to Super League?
Yeah, so for me, I grew up my whole life watching Super League, and I didn't actually debut in the Super League. My first grade debut was in the NRL, so I moved here without having played Super League, and so for when I got to debut, I was 27, making my Super League debut, and obviously playing 149 games in the NRL before it. But yeah, very physical league, just different focuses. I think the NRL is a lot more defensive based, and the standard of training is higher in Australia. It's a bit old school in England, but yeah, the game's definitely catching up.
Yeah, it's very fun to watch. Really good attacking.
Yeah, free flowing. There's a lot more spaces. The rucks are a little less tighter, so you find that there's some exciting style of footy to watch. Yeah.
And you always see that when a coach will go do some time there and then come to Australia, the team that they coach will leak 40 points but score 50, sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot more gaps in the defense. But I mean, I enjoyed it. But it was just a rough time with the state of the game at that point, because Super League clubs do not have a lot of money, like NRL clubs do, and when you throw in lockdowns and stuff like that, they really struggled, and they're probably still recovering from it now. So hopefully the NRL and Super League can combine at some point again, and I think that'll that'll help if both of the games financially support each other.
Yeah, and like on that, doing international games and stuff is really cool as well. Like the Vegas round and
Yeah.
the Super League teams go there, and
Yeah, that's been great for the game. I think Peter Volandis is doing some exciting stuff, and they're talking about, you know, games in Miami and Dubai and all over the world. So
and you're someone that's traveled a bit. Where would you want to play the most?
yeah, geez, it'd be hard playing in Dubai, but yeah, just somewhere. I'd love to play in America. I would have loved to play in those Vegas games. I remember we got the chance to play a test in Denver, and I was picked in the side after being left out in the 2017 World Cup. Got back in the side in 2018, and the game before tore my quad against Parramatta, so I couldn't travel to Denver. But that would have been my chance to play in America at the Mile High Stadium, Denver Broncos.
At elevation,
Yeah, the boys who played said it was like, you know, breathing through a straw when you were playing. It was so hard. So maybe it's a good thing that I missed out on that one. But yeah, I'd love to play in like, I don't know, like Italy or something like that. Italy's a beautiful country. Maybe we get a rugby game at the Colosseum. That'd be sick.
Yeah.
The original gladiators.
Surely Rusty will be featuring in promos for that.
Yeah, he'll be doing the thumbs up, thumbs down. The only fixture we could have potentially at the Colosseum would be Roosters Rabbitohs. That would be the only thing with Russell there in full gladiator costume.
You wouldn't send the Tigers or someone there? Tigers, Titans?
Nah, definitely not. Has to be. Russell would be all over it. I mean, England, Australia would be pretty cool to see at the Colosseum.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's good to see the World Cup back around this year. I was kind of hoping Sammy, my brother, would get the gig, but he just missed out, unfortunately. Not his time yet.
So he's coaching at the moment over there?
Yeah, so he's the head coach of a team called Warrington Wolves, and he's doing very well. His third year in charge. His first 2 years, he's got to the Challenge Cup final and just missed out. So he's trying again this year. But his team's the team that he's coaching has completely changed style since he's been there. He's done well, but I definitely see him coming back, coaching in the NRL at some point, hopefully with the Bunnies.
Do you know why he wanted to go into coaching? It seems a pretty loveless job.
Well, Sammy, this is quite a deep one actually, because Sammy, so when my dad got sick, my dad was a coach and he coached his whole life, and my dad entrusted Sammy with like the keeper of the knowledge for the rest of the family and the brothers, and he wrote down everything, all of his lessons, all of his challenges, you know, basically all of his secrets that he had, and wanted to pass on to his kids, his boys, but he couldn't because he knew his life was about to end. And so my dad lost his speech towards the end of his life. He had motor neuron disease, so he wrote down lots of things, and you know, made Sam promise him that he would pass it on to his brothers. And I think Sam going through that made him a very mentally strong from a young age. He was like 16, 17, 18 when that happened, and that turned him into he was a leader before it, but that turned him into a leader because he was entrusted with this knowledge to pass on, and as a player he was always like a coach. You know, he became a leader in that South team and captained England, and I always knew he was going to be a great coach because from the way that he used to play and the way that he coached me, you know, everything everything I have in my career is because of my brother. You know, I moved to Australia when I was 18 just so I could be around Sam and you know, be coached and be mentored by him. So yeah, that was when he got the chance to coach.
Because he was assistant coach at Rabbits.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's like Sammy had a tough time when he retired as well. He was going through a lot of things. He was going through a really messy divorce, you know, struggled with a few issues, and he got the chance to coach bush footy near Russell's team in Aurora Valley Axemen, and that was like his way back into the world, you know. And he got those boys to a grand final from nothing. No one expected that at all. And yeah, from there he found his way back to South Sydney as assistant coach. And yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I mean, I'm biased obviously, but when they got rid of JD in the end and got Wayne back, but I would have give Sam the job then. But you know, everything happens for a reason. He's gone to England now, and he's had an opportunity to try a few things and make mistakes. And I think he'll be back eventually at some point. But he's doing a very good job with the Wolves at the minute in England.
You reckon he'll coach any team, or it's bunnies or bust?
I don't know. I mean, I think for the fans, it would be hard to see him coach another, and for me as well, coach another team. But yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's a job, and he's got skills that any team would love to have. So, you know, at the minute, there's a lot of teams needing a good coach, and
yeah,
you know, you got Manly, you got Dragons, all great clubs. So, you know, if one of those comes knocking, you might answer the call for sure.
And what's your thoughts on that? Like, coaches seem to be the first one to go with poor form. You being a part of that system, do you think they're like hard done by, or you think there is?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, the buck has to stop with someone, and it's a big job being a coach. So, I mean, coaches know what they're getting into when they take the job, and you have to perform, or else it's on you. And that's why they work so hard. And you know, the coaches that I've had have worked really hard, and sometimes you can work as hard as you do and still not find success. So there's a lot of different factors that come into it, and you know, sometimes coaches get dealt a bad hand with injuries and stuff. But you know, the best coaches, they usually find a way around it with their rosters, you know. And Wayne Bennett, he gets the best out of his players no matter who's putting the jersey on. So you see what he did with the Origin team a few years ago. That was, no one expected them to win.
Even like every team he's been a part of, they always seem to make the finals and be there, and he makes improvements while he's there.
Yeah, he's just got a bit of magic around him as Wayne, and sprinkles a bit of his magic dust. And I mean, to have been around the game for that long, you know every single character inside out that he's come across, and that kind of experience is really invaluable.
Were you a part of the club when he was there?
Yeah. So I first got coached by Wayne for England in 2018. So we were in the north of England on an England tour. Wayne Bennett's up the back of the bus, as he does. He sits up the back of the bus and he tells stories about Alfie Langer. And you know, you're only allowed to sit at the back of the bus if he allows you to, which is hilarious.
Sounds like high school.
Yeah. And it gets announced that he's going to be the Bunnies coach whilst we're on the bus with the England team. So we start playing the Glory Glory to South Sydney song on the bus, and he's like singing it with me, Sam and Tom. And yeah, I wish someone would have got it on film because it was such a good moment. So 2018 tour with Wayne, and then we get back for pre-season and he's the new coach. So it was a really, and that was my last year at South Sydney, so it was really great to play under him at club level for 1 year. Would have been nice to be longer, but not to be. Got suspensions and injuries, and yeah, didn't work out that way. But
And was he your favourite coach you've played for, or?
I mean, top three was Wayne. I really loved Anthony Seibold, and obviously Michael Maguire, winning a premiership with him. He was such a tough and intense coach.
Yeah, is he the hardest you work under? Like, you hear all the stories about him, and
yeah, I mean, for me it was great because I was 21 years old, or 20 years old actually, when Madge came in, and I was ready to go with anything. You know, my body was firing. I was fit, so I needed that. That's at that point in my career. But I do know that there's some players that were older and towards the back end of their career, they struggled a lot on the Madge because he didn't take no prisoners. You know,
yeah,
like guys like Michael Crocker, Roy Asatasi, guys who had long and you know, massive careers, but their bodies were probably towards the end. He had a habit of retiring these legends, you know, and they had to move on because the training was very intense. If I'd have been coached by Madge at 28 years old with my body, I would have lasted 6 months. So, but yeah, for me at the time, he really helped my career, got me super fit, super, you know, dialed in with my training, so I loved it.
And on coaches, how many games you reckon Bellamy's got before the journos start saying there's whispers of him getting let go?
Yeah, well, you never thought you'd hear about Bellamy, but it goes to show this competition, no one's really safe, and yeah, you never know what's happening there with Melbourne behind the scenes, but they've got a few injuries, whatever. But
and we saw it with Panthers last year. They lost the bottom of the ladder and still made the finals.
It's really very small, minute details can affect the outcome of a game these days, and yeah, it can be not a lot that will happen in a game, but it could affect you winning and losing, and then it's hard to get out of that slump once you get into it. I think one time at South we lost like 9 in a row. It was terrible. You know, it feels like you're never gonna get out of it. But yeah, it can be a very simple game and very confusing game sometimes. That's why I'm an actor now, mate. None of that crap.
And so let's chat the grand final.
Oh yeah.
So you were part of the grand final winning team?
Yeah. So 2014. So basically 2013 and 2014 were like peak years for Madge and the Rabbitohs and me and my brothers. So 2013 and 2014, all four of us were at the club. So we'd really built that brotherhood energy within the team, and you know, obviously ended with us winning in 2014 in dramatic fashion. Sammy breaking his cheekbone in his last game and going to play rugby union. So yeah, it reached a crescendo at that point, and yeah, the club kind of never really recovered after losing those types of players.
Yeah, well, you got Prime, Greg Inglis, Sam, Nathan Merritt on the wing.
Nathan Merritt, yeah, he was such a great player, and I was sad for him that 2014 year he didn't get to play in the grand final, but 8-9 years prior to that grand final, he was the guy, you know, in that team, fullback, winger.
Yeah. Until
AJ came along, he was
which is like a little clone of him as well. Like they play a very similar style of footy.
Well, AJ was a massive fan of Mero, and he got the chance to play with him, you know, and it was really nice actually. We did something for Nathan Merritt the other week for the Good Friday game, because he's struggling with stage 4 cancer and really doing it tough at the minute. So he came out to the game, and we all got to hang out, all the ex-players, and got to hang out with him and his family, because I don't think he's got long left to live, which is such a tragedy. He's got 5 kids. But AJ scored the try, and it was like an intercept, and it was like typical Nathan Merritt try, so it was nice for him to be there and see that, and he got to ring the bell before the game. And
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah,
Brought a tear to the eye.
it was really hard to see him in like the way he is now, and struggling to breathe and stuff. So yeah, I wish him and his family all the best. It's such a hard thing to go through. But yeah, the grand final, man. I'd never played in the grand final up to that point in my life. Junior footy, nothing. So that was my first time, and I was like, this is it. This is my one chance to win a grand final. And yeah, to get that try was just like unbelievable.
And you don't score too many tries, do you?
Not really. I mean, my first year playing, I scored a lot. I scored like 8 tries that year, which was a lot for me. And then 2014, I think I scored 2 that year. So in the grand final, I think that was my 3rd try for the year. And yeah, it was like, boom.
And did you?
Got us back in front and kind of...
It was such a cool game too, and then you ran away with it at the end. But
yeah, the last 10 minutes we scored a few tries, but up until that point of 55 minutes when I scored, it was the scores were locked. It was like 6-all. But we knew we had them for fitness.
Yeah.
So we just had to keep holding them out, and then it showed their fitness died in the last 10 minutes.
Is that something you talk about a lot, like as a team? Like I heard Nathan Cleary talking about it a bit, where it was the first time that the Panthers felt they weren't the fitter team. Is that a big focus in
Yeah,
footy?
definitely. Fitness is such a big part of the game, especially now with the 6 again rule and all the stupid rules that they're bringing in. You got to be so fit. Like I left the NRL and came back after the 6 again rule had come in, and I was like, man, this has got so much quicker. So yeah, big guys like me are kind of becoming an endangered species in the game. There's not many guys over 120 anymore, and if they are, they're probably limited to time off the bench.
They're playing 15 minutes. They're not making my super.
Nelson's the prime example. He started getting dropped to reserve grade, and then he's like, maybe get a spot on the bench if he's lucky. And, now he's like, fuck, I'm just gonna go be a boxer because this is not my game anymore. It's too quick. So yeah, it's a shame because people like to see the fans like to see the big guys, but hopefully they'll change the rules back one day.
And on Nelson, are you going to be trash talking him a little bit? Do you enjoy that sort of stuff, or?
I mean, for me, that was never part of my game, playing league. But as a showman, as an actor, and selling a boxing fight is definitely part of the game. So, yeah, I'll be looking at some ways we can have some fun and have some
troll him online.
Good chats.
Not quite the Jake Paul sort of stuff.
Nah, I mean, it's all part of the theatre of sport, and it's even more so with boxing. So, yeah, I'm sure we'll be having a bit of fun with it. I kind of like to stay silent, but that doesn't really sell a fight.
Yeah, you've got it a bit lucky in the way of like being a rugby league player. You've got a bit more of a leg up in the marketing and everything compared to like up and coming boxers.
We had some good battles on the team when we played Melbourne, so I just think I got him covered. I think he's a bit of a fraud when it comes to being a boxer. He tries to be like a Muhammad Ali kind of style character, and that's just really not him. So I'm going to put in my training and outwork him, and hopefully it shows in the fight.
And you've got the advantage of footage and things like that. Is that something you watch a little bit, or?
Yeah, I watched a bit of his footage, but he's very primitive with his skills, mate. He's only had a few fights, so there's not much, and he's going to improve every fight. So, I mean, I'm just trying to focus on myself and improving my skills as much as possible, and hopefully that gets the job done. But I'm just there for the experience and to test myself. So
Nice. Well, about to jump off the motorway, so thanks for having a chat and thanks for your time, George.
my pleasure, Toby. Anytime. Thanks for the lift.
We'll get you home safely.
Yeah.